I'm respecting it so far. For measure 50% of this. So here's your 50%. Candle body is closing below. We'll see if this one wants to close below as well. Two minutes till silver bullet, or 1 minute now. We have this 5-minute bisi lower. I'm not entirely sure if I want to take that as a long. Look at the 15-minute chart really quick. I mean, this is an obvious draw on liquidity for me, especially with, I think this is a news driver here. Then we have continuous market structure shifts and disrespect of the premium PD arrays. So, but I mean, this is a 30-point dip to go back 40 points. Prefer if there's a lower one, but it doesn't look like there is. So I'll just be patient there. ES about to take out the highs. NQ is still holding this IFVG. Candle buys, you're still respecting 50%. Normally I would go short right here, but low probability right now. What makes you choose one over the other to trade for the day? YM versus NQ versus ES. So YM, I just only strictly use it for SMT divergence and just like strength and correlation in the market. So I don't ever touch YM personally. But NQ versus ES, it's all based on strength and weakness of the market, right? So if we have, I'll try and draw it out for you, or I'll just give an example. So we have this buy side liquidity up here, and say that ES also is coming to run up the buy side liquidity, and then YM is trading all the way down here, right? And then ES is lagging behind. Typically, if I see potential and a good trade idea, that we have a reason to reverse, you know, we have sell side liquidity targets, then I'll use the weaker one. So the one that's lagging behind, because it typically has more movement to catch up with the other two indices. 9 times out of 10, or maybe 8 times out of 10, I prefer trading ES just because I feel like it's a little bit easier and cleaner with its price action. If it's like extremely choppy like this, and then I'll just use NQ. But same exact thing, if ES is kind of like has some SMT divergence and then it starts running towards a liquidity pool and NQ starts lagging, then I would take an NQ trade because there's more room to run, if that makes sense. It's not the weaker or stronger one, so if like one is failing to get lower, then that would be the one you use. So obviously in this situation, right, like if we wanted to reverse here, ES still has a lot more room to catch up because it's nowhere near its 930 open. But if you look here, YM or NQ is a lot more, it's a lot closer. Do have a 5-minute gap here. Move this. But yeah, typically it's just, I just like trading ES. I think the point counts are a lot easier to capture and it's slower. So if you're off sides, you don't just immediately get burned. NQ is definitely quicker to give you that minimum 20 points. You can see this one candle alone is basically 20 points, while ES is, you know, printing 2, 3 candles, 2 3-point candles. So silver bullet hour now. Gonna wait for proper displacement. Check over at CL. Holding the premium end of the 5-minute here. DXY is still chopping around. There's some downside movement. So we filled this 5-minute gap. Look, take a look at the 5-minute. Filled this entire 5-minute gap, and then we'll see this candle wants to close. Looks like we're going to close below. So if this downside movement continues, we get a 1-minute bisi to form, or sibi rather, 1-minute sibi to form, in this price leg from high to potential low, and then it retraces back into either this bisi or another one that's formed in this price leg. Then we can use that to go short into the London swing low. All assuming that the other indices are following. Well, and DXY to start pumping up as well. You have buy side liquidity up here at 100,309. Trading in a 5-minute gap right now. See if that wants to hold. And then yeah, the buy side up here. Oops. I wonder what the YM chart looks like. Yeah, this is just stupid. This is the 4-hour chart. Let's look at the daily. What is this? 5% increase in the past week. Yeah, that's just. And is this all-time highs? Nope, never mind. Getting close, but not all-time highs yet. There's some downside movement. Let's see if we got on NQ. Closing below the bisi midday, maybe? No. And YM's starting to retrace, maybe. Need strong down candles to close below this swing low right there. That's your intermediate term low, because we just filled this bisi, left it. That's your intermediate term low. CL starting to move lower. Do have this 15-minute gap, so I'm being careful of shorting because it's counter high time frame bias plus news driver in 20 minutes. But normally, good shorting opportunity. For like the 2 minutes of gap right here. Trade up into the gap, short it. DXY looks like it's tapping into the fair value gap right there, starting to climb. No downside movement yet on YM, but NQ is starting to give it. And ES might be topping out here. So we just tapped into the 15-minute. If you look on the left side chart, here's your gap. You can expand it higher. There's your gap. We just tapped right here. Make sure you get some continuation to the upside. I want to see this close through and use it as inversion. DXY is climbing up. What is this? Watch 100, 308. I'll put that in predictions as well. Oh, there's the DXY. Still no lower movement on indices. So we just popped through the relative equal highs up here. We're just continuing to climb. Let's check over at the 1 hour chart, actually the 4 hour chart. So closed above the 4 hour, just tapped into it. Now watch 100, 511. Put an alarm up there as well. It's just boring price action. So I got your 2022 model there, except failing to sweep any higher time frame buys of liquidity. So I'm not favoring short right now, especially with this larger imbalance. But did provide good 20 points. About to. This is just a mess. Let's go to 5-minute. So continually tapping into this 5-minute sibi here. You can see candle buys are all closing below it. We'll see if this one wants to close below as well. If this one closes below, I think that's still extremely bearish and we should head for sell side. Even if we close at 50%, I mean, you're getting good slapped right now. If we close even at 50% of this gap, I think that'll be enough bearish or bullish movement to climb us back up to maybe 50% of this wick or something higher. There's no breaker. You have this one. High, low, higher, high. Last consecutive down the close candle. So it's a large breaker here. And you have your implied fair value gap right there. So we're just trading within multiple fair value gaps. That's why it's kind of chopping around. Two minutes left on this candle. We'll see where it wants to close. Yeah, I'll put an alarm. Below this fair value gap. So if we were to come down and close below this, I don't really care if it bounces. I wouldn't see it close below, and then continue. And Q still holding that 5-minute gap. And I want to see displacement through these lows for a proper market structure shift. Once we get through those lows with down closing candle, then these lows should be easily attacked and the London swing low. Don't forget about this gap up here too. I'll mark it out. No movement on ES. Some downside there. Maybe. So preferably we do close above this gap. Tapped into the 15-minute twice on the 1. Just one time on 15. You can see the precision there. Candle buy highs right at the pre-value gap premium end. Also immediate rebalance to this candle high. Take a look over ES starting to move lower. Same with NQ. We got that displacement through the low. Remove this. Here's your sibi. It's looking good so far. Now normally I want to see that used as a breakaway gap. And we don't fill this at all. Let me form another sibi. Okay, well. Form another sibi like this that we could use to tap into. Well, there's the low, so we should get some speed now. I'll see what ES is doing. ES starting to come off too. Looking good. YM, nothing. DXY popping up. So, somewhat healthy. I mean, healthier than it was with YM. And screw YM. All my homies hate YM. We're just going to wait here for another 1 minute gap. I won't be surprised if we don't get a fill before it takes out London swing low. Looks like it's leaving this as open, which is good. We do have a mitigation block here. These up close candles, order block, bearish order block, and a fair value gap right here. So if we were to trade up into this fair value gap, I would be fine with taking that short. We'll see what happens. I'll put a limit order there. Put one on demo as well. And stop loss accommodate the entire thing. Then take profit all the way at the London low. Yes. No 1 minute gap. Might have a 2. Yeah, 2 minute gap forming right now. We'll see how this candle buying wants to close. Tiny imbalance right there as well. Prefer if it climbs up to this one, which is right at equilibrium of the dealing range. So trading around this sell side now. Retail's gonna see this as support. So optimally we come up, get filled, short, and then it climbs down. If you look on the left side chart, we have this hourly gap lower all the way down here, which is roughly another 80 points. I'd be surprised if we trace all the way lower. Got a fair value gap there. If you measure low to high, actually, dealing range, then that one is within discount of the current dealing range. So I got filled short there. I'm leaving the stop above the swing high, so in case it wants to fill the breakaway, then I'm fine with that. We get stopped out all good, but obviously 20-point mark would be right here. But we'll keep the London swing low as target for now. Check over ES. ES a little bit more scary. No fair value gap right here, so it could just reverse all the way up to the high and get stopped out on NQ, but that's fine. So tapping into the higher one now. I prefer if some of this gap is left open. See what it wants to do. So fill the entire gap instead. Might get stopped down now. So if it does leave lower, we should make another breakaway. We have another fair value gap down here. Technically a 2022 model if we break market structure upside. Yeah, sell side liquidity swept, market structure shift potentially above this high, and then fair value up on the discount end. Could use to go long. But since we were holding the 5-minute gap, I'm comfortable with taking the short. Take over its look at CL right now. CL closed above. I want to see that used as inversion now. Let's look at another chart. Go back to MNQ. Okay, so holding this 1-minute gap so far. Can't advise respecting the low end. Yeah, right now DXY is showing strength while the equity is not being weak. That's what I've been wondering all morning. It's popping so heavily here, and you can see ES and YM are just saying FU. NQ is the only one that's showing weakness. That's why I prefer to take this one rather than on ES. But yeah, I mean, I think 9 times out of 10 on a high probability day that this trade would play out. So I'm just going to stick to my edge, and if it plays out, that's great. If it doesn't, then I'm fine with taking a loss, because I think this is a trade I would take 90% of the time. We'll see right now what this wants to do. Oops. Good pop lower. I want it to close below this bisi right here. If you can see it, it's tapping into it right now, but I want it to potentially close below. It's gonna have some trouble in the beginning, but as long as DXY keeps climbing, then hopefully get some weakness on the indices. Yes, we got a fair value gap right here. Might get stopped out there. I mean, that's just tough. Indices all, yeah, I got stopped out there. So indices all climbing right now with DXY. Unfortunate, but it does happen. Move this. So now, if we remove these, do have fair value gap right here. Another fair value gap right here. So if we break market structure, it would be technically above this high. We have another market structure shift right there. So watch this gap if it wants to form. This sibi should be closed through. So I want to see displacement above, and we attack the swing high up here. I'll take a screenshot of this and put it over to prediction chat. So we're tapping into that bisi right now. With an order block. No, I'm tempted to go long here. But anyways, if we were to use that as a trade idea, then 20 points is the minimum right here, which lines up with this fair value gap over here. So I think that's a solid trade. And then the buy side liquidity up here would be after that. See the 2022 model forming, right? Your breaker as well, right here. Breaker, you can move this bisi now. High, low, lower, low, that takes out liquidity. If you measure your fib swing projection, right here at negative 2.5 is the buy side liquidity that we were targeting. 4 standard deviations would be up here. I'll put that as best case scenario. Tapping to the bisi again. Tempted to go long, but we're not gonna. Actually, just for fun, we'll do it. Take profit would be 20 points. So right here, right there, and then stop loss I'll put below that low, below the breaker, and below that intermediate term low. So I'm fine with that. I can move this now, See if it wants to climb. I don't really care if this plays out. It's just a demo trade, but something to look for. Breaker with fair value gap. So technically, it's unicorn setup long. We're also within silver bullet hour. Proper displacement to the upside. Second fair value gap used as potential. ES tapping into their bisi right now. See if that wants to be used to go long. And this one's also getting slapped. We have 30 seconds to the news driver, so I just kind of want to see what happens here. We have bisi liquidity all the way up here. So I'm tempted. Oh, there's a stop out on NQ. Nice. So I'm going to be done for that. I'm not going to try and push anything. Market is just not in our favor right now. Here's 8 seconds to the news. Let's see if it pops all the way up. Or not. Relatively low volatility. Thought I'd get more. Okay. Tapped into the 5-minute right there. See if that wants to be used. ES close below their bisi. Expect that to be used as inversion. And then NQ if I can move these executions. Tapping within this bisi again, but really can't trust anything now. DXY still climbing up. Finally getting some movement lower on YM. We got some movement lower on ES as well. If you look at the 5-minute chart, this gap is still holding for move these. This gap right here. Chart out in time. All the candle buys respecting 50% for sure, but almost respecting that discount end between these two candles. Another fair value gap right there. And same exact thing on ES. So it's actually somewhat symmetrical. And on YM. So a little bit better market conditions. This sibi right here. Then London swing low, 15,959.25. Holding it so far. Let's look over at ES. ES tapping into their 1-minute gap here. Then 5-point mark from that would be right here, down at the alarm. Good displacement on ES. Hopefully NQ can pick it up as well. Obvious first target would be down here. I want to see ES to continue to drop. Same thing with NQ. NQ's holding that sibi nicely. I want to see displace and close below now. Let's see if DXY's. A little bit of retracement there. Once we close below this low though, we should get some speed into the downside. YM is crossing lower. NQ is really the only one. Filling the gap on ES. Just waiting for NQ now. So there's that gap I had marked out with an alarm. We're closing below. Good mark structure shift. Here's your sibi. Mark structure shift right here. So short-term target would be this swing low. Sell side liquidity. Also have a gap right there you can use, as well as this lower gap down here on the 1 minute. So put an alarm down there. So it's looking better for shorts than the 2 times we just tried to take. I want NQ to catch up here and trying to dump down the low. CES attempting to go for their 5-point mark to make this gap lower. You can see there's that gap. So we're watching that. Oops. Immediate rebalance on the upside, filled right up to the order block low. I want this low to still be attacked and fill this gap at least. NQ is a bit more frugal to move. We're closing above the sibi now. Look at the 2 minute. Nope. It's not moving as much as we'd like. So be patient, see if it wants to move lower. Starting to climb up. I mean, YM is headed lower, and ES starting to move over. NQ is also popping up now, and DXY is chopping the top of the range. So it's just been low probability this entire morning. I'm not going to try and force anything more than we've already taken 2 demo losses there. So we'll see what price wants to do. CL is dropping off precipitously. There's a news driver there. Sell side down here at 67 and at 32, 75.32, which I think is your London session low all the way down here. $341, yeah. So I'll send this over to non-indices. And indices are misaligned again. Tapping to the sibi on yes. Same thing up here. So we have 10 minutes to the macro. I think I'll wait till lunch macro. So 11:50. I'm just gonna close the stream today again early. Past 3 days have just been tough for the morning session. So if you've lost money in demo, then these past 3 days, I wouldn't blame you. It's been very, very difficult to trade these morning sessions. Getting chopped up all 3 days, Monday through Wednesday. Oh, ICT posted a loss. Oh no, I'm curious if he took the same exact one. He posted on Twitter or on YouTube? Okay, let me see. Oh, he did post. Oh, he took the same exact trade we did. Nah, I feel better about myself. I'll put it in trading hall so you can see. Now I feel great. Man. Whatever. All good. Looks like it's climbing the buy side now. So watch the buy side up here and the best case scenario all the way climbing higher. Yes, I mean, nothing's aligned, so I'm not going to try and predict anything if it's just crappy market conditions. So I think we'll close it for now. I think that'll do it. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully for the AM session. Actually, I don't know. It's Thursday tomorrow, so maybe not. Low probability probably won't be any better than it has been through Monday through Wednesday, or maybe a CL stream. I'll make up my mind. In the morning, I'll check the charts. If it's low probability, I most likely will not be streaming. I'll just try and record something, maybe for the YouTube, or give my predictions or give my thoughts in prediction chat. So until then, I will see you guys maybe tomorrow, for sure Friday. Until then, good luck and good trading and be safe.